Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is a Kerbal Engineering episode, and today I want to build a rover and a manned, bigger science rover that I want to be shipping off to Duna. Now, to do that I'm using several mods, and among others, most notably the Umbra Space Industries Malemute rover. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And I wanted to have a service bay and science module and some docking ports so that it could be assembled into a mobile base afterwards. So some rover docking ports, and hold on, shouldn't they be somewhat turned like this? I have no idea, but I still think this would look cool. Great, let's put some wheels, and I'm gonna put this Malemute modular wheel. By the way guys, this is the proper way to align them if some of you had issues with wheels. And like this, and like this, perfect. And I think we can fold them, open the ladder. Okay, and then I want to be opening the service bay doors. And in the service bay I do want to put some RTGs for power generation. And I do want to put some tech life support supplies because, well, this is kind of a precursor for a mobile base on Duna. And I do want to have some more plentiful resources available to me, so that's the idea. So I'm gonna stick the hex scans for the life supports, or life support, in there. Perfect. And I think those actually fit quite nice. Okay, that being said, let's give this bad boy a run for its money, but I do want to just be able to toggle the science parts, and then I do want to be toggling the wheel, and I'm gonna be using the group 10 for doing so, although I think that they do toggle with the button G for gear, which I think was a great addition from Rover Dude. But let's give it a test run, shall we? Okay, and this is the Malemute cab run by Jeb and Bill. Perfect. Looks kinda nice, so let's go and test how it perform. Yep, pretty nice, I must say. I'm overall happy with how it turns, how it brakes. Let's see, gear, yes, G button for gear works actually. That's awesome. Let's extend the gear back. Perfect, it just takes a little bit of time. So let's see what else can we do. Deploy the ladder, and it's enough for Kerbals to get in. Great, that's very important. Lights, good. Docking ports, inflate, great. And then let's see the science part, if it deploys correctly. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy the way the rover looks and works, and it gives us a total of 175 days when it's crewed by two people. So that's not much, but still it's way more than you would have in normal case, so I think that's good enough, let's say. Okay, so now let's kill the simulation and let us find a way how we would be able to deploy it on Duna, because it's one thing actually building this bad boy, but it's a whole different story in terms of getting it to Duna. By the way, in the Kerbal Engineering, as always, we will be building and testing various components, but in my Interplanetary Voyage series I will actually be flying the damn thing. Okay, so I decided to put it as a sub-assembly, and let us build the lander. So the idea is to have a return stage also as part of the rocket. So I'm starting with a return stage, and I want to be putting, like capsule, heat shield for returning back to Kerbal, then a decoupler, and then we are assembling the Duna lander. So hopefully this guy now should be landing to Duna with crew, and the rover should be beside it, so for exploration and all that jazz. Because we have to think about not only getting our people to Duna, but also returning them back from Duna. Let's put the engines, 1.85, I think that's good enough for Duna, and 1200 delta V. Well, that's not stellar. Maybe I should just put 2 tanks. Yep, that could work. Okay, I just have to make sure that I have enough ladders. Let's move the engines a little bit. Where are my mobility enhancers, also known as ladders? Okay, and yeah, opens in the wrong way, so let's just swing it this way. Okay, great. And I need one more, because once we extrude the landing legs it would be too high up, so let's pull it a little bit out. Okay, now it looks good. And then let's put another ladder underneath it, but we have to determine how much once we actually put the landing legs. Okay, the landing legs are like this, and a little bit more ladder I think here, and not in the 4-way symmetry but in a single-way symmetry. Great. And I think a little bit overlap, but still good enough. Okay, lander, Duna lander. And this will be ultimately the name of the ship, despite the fact that it contains a rover as well. So, closing these guys, and which I think is great. And now we will be putting the fairing for the rover. So let's put the fairing. After the fairing we put a decoupler. I don't know how this works, so let's see. Oh, and the rover is bigger, so no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put the adapter to the 5 meter or to 3.25 meter. Yeah, something like this. And then I'm gonna put 3.25 meter decoupler, followed by this bad boy. Okay, 3.25 meter fairing. So now let's put the Malemute rover, another decoupler, 2.5 meter, just in case. I don't know if it would decouple otherwise. Decoupler to the back, perfect. And then another fairing. Ooh, and this is something wrong. Yeah, now it's correct. So let's, before we close the fairing, let us put now the parachutes for landing this guy on the surface of Duna, because we are expecting to deploy parachutes somewhere in the orbit, or not in the orbit, but once it will be airborne and before it lands on Duna, hopefully arresting enough vertical velocity so that this bad boy can land. Okay, third, perfect. Okay, just enlarging the size. And they are for Duna. It's important to note that as well. And they will be deploying at 1200 meters just because I do want to have some leeway when it comes to decelerating. Yeah, I don't need them for the whole craft, but still. Let's put another 2 here and another 2. Oh, I have a service bay. Shoot. Okay, let's put them here. Perfect. And then those 2 could actually go here. I think this should evenly distribute these guys so that we can actually nicely land the rover on Duna. So I want to be putting the couplers in the same stage, and then we want to be putting I want to be putting actually drogue chutes from underneath, so that once we're going retrograde, I want these guys to be able to fully decelerate us in the orbit around Duna. So apply to all symmetry counterparts. Come on, please. Let's deploy them at 5,000 meters. Perfect. And then we will be closing the fairing. Okay. As you can see, nicely aligned. Move along, nothing to see here. Beautiful. Okay, let's just check our staging. And now, that's our payload. So we need to get these 2 guys to Duna. Decoupler. And then I want to be building a transfer stage, the one that will be getting us to Duna. And to do that, I want to be putting 3.75 meter together with... where do I have a Rhino? Okay. 3001. Well, yeah, that could work. Or I could actually put something more or less little chubbier and shorter. That, and then I'm gonna put the interstage, assuming I can find it. Or actually, I wanted to see how it would go with Skipper, but actually Rhino is a perfectly good engine, so... Oh, and I want to be putting also this bad boy. And this is actually a heat shield when we will be aerobraking and going into the Duna's atmosphere, because I don't want my expensive rover to get burned up and due to the atmospheric friction. Okay, so let's put the adapter interstage. Beautiful. And then we need to put the 5-meter fuel tank, of course. And I don't think I need that one. I could use the smaller and stubby one, followed by a 5-meter engine. Okay, maybe not you. And all stages not on Duna, but rather on Kerbal, so not you. Okay. Maybe I could use you with some side boosters. And side boosters I also want to use like Soviet style, like this big liquid fuel and oxidizer tanks that I'm usually using, like these guys. These give rocket a nice look and feel, and actually I put like 4 rhinos at the bottom, and I set them to onion staging, and those should be more than enough. So yeah, rhinos, like I said, 1.73 thrust to weight, which I think is good enough. And let us just set up the fuel transfer, onion staging. To me that sounds just about right. Okay, so save, and I do want to be putting the 5-meter SAS and 3.75 meter just to be able to actually turn. Holy cow. And now I see that center of lift is so high up as compared to the center of mass, so I would actually need to put some fins at the bottom. I'm not sure, by the way, guys, if you really need on the rocket to have the center of lift behind the center of mass. I know that you have to have it on planes, but I think it doesn't hurt the overall stability of the craft if you do so. And these two are so bloody taxing that I'm putting a shitload of fins on the damn thing. Oh boy. I think this rocket will look rather ridiculous. By the way, guys, if you do know of some larger stabilizing fins, like the ones that we used to have in B9 Aerospace, please do let me know. I'm trying to find something bigger, but, well, it doesn't work overall. Oh well, I think just I'm gonna stick with metric crap ton of these smaller fins, I guess, for this rocket. It's not the most beautiful thing, but I guess it works. Oh, and I forgot to let's put some RTGs. 2 of them, we don't need much. We just need enough electricity to survive, and also on the lander I do want a little bit of solar panels just to be on the safe side. Okay, and RCS. I do want to put a lot of RCS blocks up top just to move a center of mass slightly upwards and to get some thrust vectoring, so to say. I'm just reducing the amount of solar panels just to 2. I don't want more of them. Okay, and then I want to be putting 2 monoprop tanks also on the lander. And all that in the hopes of raising the center of mass slightly upwards. Jesus. Okay. I guess we are back to stacking a boatload of fins at the bottom of the rocket. Come on, just a few more. I'm running out of places to put them. Holy cow. Okay. This is just hilarious. Okay, I think I'll have to stick with this. Jesus, my rocket looks like a hedgehog. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so I think it would be time to actually that we simulate if this thing will fly at all. Thrust to weight 1.34? Wow. But it's going actually quite nicely. Good takeoff, of course. Jeb, Bill and Bob testing the thing, and we are going up. Thrust to weight looks good. We have cleared the tower. Aerodynamic shape so far, so no issues there. Let's begin the gravity turn a little bit. I am maintaining a slightly steeper profile because of this. I had always had a bad experience with these tanks where they would collide with the main stack. Sometimes because of the Separatrons, sometimes because I wasn't using the Separatrons. But this time I have almost enough fuel to get us to the suborbital, and then once I come into the void of space, I'll just ditch these 4 boosters and circularize, hopefully on my own. So our apoapsis is rising, 35, 37, 38 and 40. Beautiful, and we still have enough fuel in our liquid fuel tanks, which is great. Okay. Let us just extend the periapsis so that we circularize. That should be 1573, and we will have 1400, and so roughly these 2 stacks should be enough to circularize, which I think is great. Okay, node in 1 minute and 33 seconds. Better burn time reminding us when we should burn. And this is a rocket with high inertia, so it does take a little bit maneuvering to actually get it. So let's kick the gas and just circularize. Remember, this is just a test anyway. And now detaching the boosters. As you can see, perfect onion staging, no issues whatsoever. Beautiful. Time to circularize. (700 meters per second) to go. Looks promising so far. Ditching the interstage and just testing what we have. So, great. So far as our launch configuration works, we have everything what we need, and I'm happy with it. So I'm just renaming this to landing stage, and now I want to be testing the Duna operations with this one. So let us save this guy, because this is what will be ultimately arriving at Duna. Okay, simulating around Duna, altitude kilometers, let's say, I don't know, 360 or 350. Simulate, please. So now the second part of the simulation is to show if the landing stage and everything that therein would work correctly. So let's first decouple, and I have transferred Jeb into the Malemute rover. So he is from the rover within a fairing piloting a craft. I mean, you know Jeb, he is just crazy. Badass. Okay, that puts our periapsis at 5,000. And this thing turns like a truck. Let us detach the fairing, and let us use that fancy 10-meter shield that we have put, and hope that this one should be good enough to actually slow us down, and hopefully that we don't burn up in the atmosphere. Inflating the heat shield like a big umbrella or a big hat for the rice pickers, I guess. Okay, beautiful. Looks great. 1,000 meters per second. We are kicking into the atmosphere, and I'm hoping that this 10-meter fair or heat shield should be enough to decelerate us enough to the point where we could actually use the drogue chutes and then detach the fairings, and then hopefully everything should be working as intended. (800 meters), we are entering the rough patch of the atmosphere. It's definitely not yet safe to deploy the chutes. Oh, and there's another part of our lander that just went bye-bye. I think it's the engine and the transfer stage. Okay, it's safe to deploy the chutes, and I tried to deploy the chutes and I'm an idiot, I have them in the fairing, so yeah. Now I have deployed the fairing, and I should have thought about this earlier, but no matter. I'm kicking the chutes now and detaching this bad boy, and the drogue chutes should hopefully be enough to slow us down. They already are slowing us down to the point where for us it becomes practical to use the main chutes. Oh, and I can actually see Jeb from here. Hi, buddy. $40 meters per second, so I guess now we could also engage our main chutes. And we have duplicated Jab. We have Jab and Jab. And I can see him inside. Hey man, how are you doing? Okay, now chutes should start deploying. Perfect. A lot of chutes, and I know I won't be able to do this in 1.2, but I don't care. Okay, coming ever so closer. 50 meters and bam! There we go. Deploying the wheels, and let us see how we can drive. And this thing actually drives pretty nicely on the surface of Duna. Jeb, how are you feeling, man? Oh, this is a beautiful view from your cockpit. I'm so jealous. Oh, and don't please pull any stunts yet. Remember, this is a simulation. Extended the science components, hopefully getting some more science. And rovers, let's see. Service bay, yeah. It's definitely nice to drive around in the rover, so let's pull the brakes. And I'm overall happy how this looks like, so I'm happy with the simulation. And now we need to change the craft, and let's go back to the lander. I want to make sure that the lander also gets down safely. Okay. Let's do some deceleration, and we are going on the periapsis of 13,000 meters. So I'm using RCS to slow down because I won't be needing RCS that much once we are landed. It's more like for when it was a part of the bigger stack of a rocket. So I'm using mainly RCS, but I will also be kicking the gas, so yeah. We are starting to heat up. Well, going down with the tank is not the smartest thing, but let's see. We're 20 meters up, and I could hopefully decelerate with a little bit of the engines as well. Maybe. I like to preserve as much delta V as I can, but ultimately this is a test, so in the real scenario I'll probably be burning with my RCS all the way through, but this way I can just go quickly, hit it, and hopefully decelerate to the point where I'm set or where I'm satisfied. Bill and Bob coming down, executing the burn. 400 meters per second, and I'm ready to actually hit the chutes. And hitting the chutes. Ooh. Okay, this was unplanned. I didn't plan to ditch the fairing, but okay. And now I'm trying to kill the simulation, but for some reason KSP wouldn't let me, so okay, I'll simulate it all the way to the end, and then it should hopefully be fine. Yep. So far we are alive. Okay, so some minor corrections when it comes to... I have first and foremost forgotten the life support. So, I do want to be putting some life support supplies container, large, here. Perfect. Okay, and with the current crew it should last 2 years. Well, that's good enough, I would say, for one-way trip and some staying. So, and the current crew is 3 Kerbals. Okay, I mean that should suffice. Just to be on the safe side, let's put some carry cans. we have some hex cans, and we could actually put some of them there. Yeah, life support supplies, hex can large. I'm gonna put 4 more of these, because I clearly want to over-engineer the craft. Okay, let's check once again the staging. And just make sure that all the stages are set up correctly. Okay, this looks promising. And I think I'm gonna be building it. By the way, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like if you liked, hit subscribe for more KSP content that is coming soon.